I lag all over the place, but and sometimes when I get juicier packs, but that sucks. Ah. Take that. Oop, volatile. Got a sync link drop. Take that. Oh, I shouldn't have used my boss storm call so early. I didn't realize the boss was like right here. Can I pick one up somewhere? There we go. Okay. Alright, so we should be able to kill. I don't think we can one phase her, but I forgot this boss has ads before it. I could have just waited. I just could have just came in anyways. Right now it's just on 4 link. But it's gonna be my 6 link setup. Right now it's currently just Valstorm Call, increased crit damage, I should say, conk effect, and then added cold, and then I have control destruction elemental focus. I should be level a huge amount of health yet. Still need better gear. Looking for life on my helmet. Looking for life on my rings, or ring. Life on my necklace. Life on this stuff. I can get some extra life off the build. I still have more life to come from my tree. It's in a good spot right now. But as far as everything, how the build works, currently set up. So essentially the build is built around Abberoths Hooves, which is right here. So as you take a step with Abberoths Hooves, you get these fire marks, and that's your damage basically. And then you use Herald of Ice as well as Added Cold, and that does all your damage for you and shatters and kills all your packs. So all you have to do is run as fast as you possibly can, and then you get all the damage you really need. So right now my Abberoths Hooves are linked to Added Cold, Added Lightning, Increased Crit, and Increased Critical Damage. Abberoths Hooves is a spell, so where is it? Zealotry does work on it because you can put the increased spell damage as well as the increased crit damage all work for it. Increased damage. It might not show up in the tab, so the damage per use here is definitely not going to be up, and you can't put this down here. You can only look at it here. But that's how I'm getting my damage output. I am currently using a Circle of Fear. This just gives me increased Herald of Ice effect. It's one of the new rings in the game. It gives me some dex, it gives me some cold resistance, and it gives me some flat added cold damage as well as the increased buff effect. So that's why I'm using this. As far as my body, I'm using a Carcass Jack with currently, this has my Storm Call set up. Storm Call is what I use for bossing. So I have Storm Call, added cold, increased crit, and conk effect right now. As I get a 5 and 6 link, I'll have control, destruction, and elemental focus as well. As far as my gloves, I just have a decoy totem in them. You're essentially just looking for resistances, life, and some dex if you can get it. As far as my belt, this is not the best belt I can have. If I can actually just get a flat life belt or something like that with a huge amount of life and some strength on it, and then resist, I'll be really good. The physical damage doesn't do anything for us in this build. This ring is just there for some stats, mostly just for resistances. That's all I really need, and a little bit of dex. Other than that, I'm good. As far as my helmet is pretty much going to be life and some resistances. That's all you really need. And then I have my Herald of Ice set up here. So I have Herald of Ice, Curse on Hit, Increased Area, and Assassin Mark. And then on my other Divinarius, I have Efficacy, Increased Duration, and Phase Run. I'm using 2 Divinarius for the increased crit as well as the spell damage, as well as the life gained on kill and mana gained on kill, and the increased area effect. So That's why this setup is the way it is. For basically just Abberoths Hooves, my whole tree is basically built around just getting as much area damage, crit chance, and critical strike damage and crit multiplier, and then just flat elemental damage pretty much helps out your tree. So this is pretty much what the tree looks like. If you hit hooves in chat, you can see the paste bin. Yeah, this is currently what my tree looks like. I have more crit I can pick up here, and I have more life that I can grab here, 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 and here. I have jewel sockets that I can grab here, 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 and here. And that pretty much, everything else is pretty much set. The rest is just going to be critical strike chance and crit multiplier. For jewels, you're pretty much just looking for spell damage, area damage, and crit multiplier if you can get it. But yeah, as far as my Ascendancy choices, for normal lab, I just went Unstable Infusion, picked up the chance to gain power charges, which is really useful for our build. It gives us a lot of crit chance. It gives us a lot of extra damage from this because spell damage converted to power is converted to spell damage per power charge is increased. So this is really helpful for our build as well. I actually went opportunistic and then ambush for Cruel and Merciless lab. The reason I did so is because this essentially ends up just being extra damage. And for early mapping, you don't really need it, but for early mapping, especially for early bossing and stuff like this is really useful. It just gives you 100% increased damage when there's only one enemy, so if there's a boss, you pretty much have 100% increased damage. And then the movement speed is really nice, and then the chance, and then your any crit you have will not be reflected, so that helps you out with some reflect maps. I haven't tested that yet because I still can get more crit. I'm only at about 50% crit right now. But as far as my skill tree is concerned, I can get to 100% crit as long as I have all these. So as soon as I do my Uber Lab, I'm trying to pick up some life for that, and then I'll head in there. And then the last thing I did, I just grabbed 100% more crit chance against enemies on full life and 100% more crit chance on enemies on low life. And then my critical strikes have calling strike. So this also just helps with bosses. Azara was a pain in the ass before I got this, so I made sure to grab this as my Merciless lab. This really helps out with those heavier hitting bosses and stuff like that. This helped out a lot with what's his name? What's that guy's name? I can't think of his name. Oh my god, I can't think of the last boss in the game's name right now. Anyways, Act 10 boss, help me with him. And it just helps me with bosses in general. It helps me with that as far as my Valstorm call. But yeah, whenever I get Uber Lab, I'll go grab this, and then that'll finish up that. Yeah, pretty much the build just works on running. That's pretty much the theme of my builds this league. Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Thank you.
Saturday nights, blueberry cigarillos, swishes make my throat hurt, rolling up.